Hey everyone, welcome back to season 2 of You Were Meant for More. I am your host, Francine Ayala, and I am so excited as far as what's coming for 2025. I've recently launched an 8-week program called Ignite Your Confidence, and we are going to focus on the fundamentals of faith, fitness, and finance, because those are the 3 foundations that you need to really break through in this new year. So are you ready to step out into your power and purpose and walk boldly and confidently into your next season? Go ahead and contact me at francineayala.com/men for more.
All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of You Were Meant for More. My apologies, there was a little bit of technical issues going on, but you know what? We're going to roll with technology because that's what we're all about. So today's show is the truth about self-sabotage and how we get to break from the cycle. Oh my goodness. This one it's powerful. And it's funny that it's coming up now because my team and I have a strategic plan in place as we start to launch several of the other programs that we're working on. And I find it so ironic that this one is coming up. And I'm all for it, don't get me wrong, but timing. I want to say timing and grace is everything, because of my past and everything that I went through to position me to where I'm at today had tons of self-sabotage attached to it. And we're going to get into it right now. So I highly encourage you to grab a journal or grab a piece of paper, take notes, ask questions. This is really one of those episodes where it's very engaging. And well, I would like for it to be very engaging because there's so much to gain. There's so much perspective to be able to shift any potential self-sabotage that you might be sitting in. And now, remember, we don't even know what we don't know as far as how our mind is processing self-sabotage to keep us away from our own success. So I'm here. I want you to engage. I want you to share, because in order for you to really, or in order for us to break through these challenges of any type of self-sabotage, we have to get down to the root cause of what is happening with it. Now, granted, I share this that we are like onions peeling layers back all the time. So never come up to a training or a meeting or anything and think, I already know that. Right away, your brain will shut down and you won't receive anything. So whenever I do talks or whenever I'm hosting my summits and conferences, I always tell them to come with an open mind to receive the information. Never say, I know that, because then your brain will not receive something new. For example, you want to be open to anything that a speaker or a trainer or a coach or a mentor is sharing with you, because guess what? Your brain is going to process what it's probably heard 99 times. But the minute a mentor, coach, trainer, or a speaker says it in a different way where it tweaks your brain to respond differently, that is where the game changer and all the hidden nuggets are. Because there's been many times where I've sat in rooms where personal development has taken place, and for some reason, I've heard the same situation happen over and over and over again, but it was the way that speaker said it that my brain finally clicked and was like, I know exactly what they're talking about. I know what to do going forward. I know how to shift my mentality and my perspective. And guess what? It's happening every single time I put myself in those rooms. And I want the same for you. So I'm going to share all of the things that I did, all of the mistakes I did, because I want nothing more than you to be successful, for you to pass those roadblocks, those, those areas of you not taking action. Okay. And my phone just told me to put my phone on silent. And actually, let me check to make sure we are live, because remember, last time we had a little bit of a technical issue. So I'm going to go ahead and check really quick. All right, we are live. Awesome, awesome. Okay, just want to make sure. And definitely, like I mentioned before, engage with me. Engage and ask the questions, because again, I want to be able to support you as much as possible. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so self-sabotage. What does that look like? I'm also going to ask questions. So whether you're catching this live or on replay, I want you to engage. I want you to engage and answer the questions, because whatever it is that's happening in your life, and I promise you it's still happening in mine, because I see the little things show up. All right, so what does self-sabotage look like? And I brought notes, you guys, because I want to make sure that I cover it all. So I personally sabotaged my own success. I remember when I was in banking. So I was in banking for 17 years, if you don't know that history about me. And I remember, I mean, it goes as far back as that. Like, I remember wanting another type of job, something that was going to expand my creativity, was going to allow me to spread my wings. I remember saying that specifically. I was just like, I just want to spread my wings. I just want to, like, I wanted to get out of banking and I just wanted to spread my wings. And I was like, how do I do that? Well, how do you progress forward? You actually have to take action. So what does that look like? Well, back then I was in banking. And so what did that look like for me? It looked like me having to look for another job, another opportunity, not necessarily leaving the banking industry, but I needed to look for another opportunity and position that was higher than the one I was in. Or I needed to look for another job. If I wanted to spread my wings, what did that look like for me? But guess what? I never took action. I never, like, so if you're trying to go after something and you're not putting in the steps or the action to get you there, then you're basically staying stagnant, you're staying comfortable, and you're ultimately self-sabotaging yourself. That's basically how it comes about. There's those comments in our head that say, we're not good enough. Maybe nobody will respond to what it is I have to offer. Who do I think I am where someone would pay me? There are so many. Or you're like, oh, I'm so busy. This was like one of my, I'm so busy, I don't have time. But yet I had time to hang out with my friends. I had time to go to concerts. I had time to go to the movies. I had time to date. I had time to all of the things, you name it. But it was like, I didn't have time to look for that other position or job that was going to bring me closer to me wanting to spread my wings. Okay. So I didn't look. I didn't look for anything until, like, I remember I kept saying this. So be careful with what you say. And I don't say be careful, meaning like be aware of what you say, because I remember I kept saying, I just want to, like, I remember telling my manager, I just want to be fired so I can go find something that I love. Now, granted, I didn't expect her to fire me, but whatever you're speaking out into the universe, into God, if you're praying about whatever that may look like for you, months and months passed. And who knew that I would actually make an error at my job in banking that ultimately put me on very thin ice, so that the next thing that I did, I was basically going to get fired. I promise you, I was not looking to get fired. I was a single mother. I needed to support my son. Like, why would I even do something that dumb? Okay. So, but when you put out your intention, when you put out what it is that you're looking to do, to really chase after, and you're like, your heart and your soul is into it, the universe will make it happen. So I was at work constantly thinking, what's out there? There's something better for me. Oh, can I just get fired? I mean, seriously, I was positioning myself for what was to come. And don't get me wrong, I'm grateful. Like, nobody ever wants to be fired. Nobody ever wants to say they were fired. But I'm so grateful that it happened to me. And it was so funny because my manager at the time was a really good friend of mine. And I remember not talking to her for like a couple months because I was hurt. How could she fire me? How could she? How dare she? and and I did. And I was so mad. I was angry because it's like, how could she? Now, granted, I remember HR telling me that people adored me there, and I was grateful for that. I was a great worker. And I remember HR telling me, like, wherever you go, you have a recommendation. I will give you one. And I just remember feeling so blessed and grateful because I knew I wasn't that person who got fired. I just put it out there. I was the one that was like making my own road. I was the one that was putting out what could come from it. And so unfortunately it happened at that time, but I'm still grateful for it because it would have never pushed me out of my comfort zone to be where I'm at today. And my past manager slash friend, good friend, her and I are really good friends till this day. And so I'm grateful for that. But yeah, after I went through my period of being upset, like, how could you? I remember telling her, actually, I remember asking you jokingly, I remember asking you to fire me back in the day. Can't you just fire me so I can go find something I love? And she laughed and she goes, well, there you go. And I was like, wow. So again, think about it. Here I was, sabotaging the opportunity for growth because I was sitting very comfortable. I was sitting in excuses. And that's what self-sabotage means. Like, it's the perfectionism, the procrastination, the toxic relationships you involve yourself in, the money avoidance, the imposter syndrome, you name it. It's a spiral of events that take place in your life. And I wanted to have the announcement ready today, but we weren't ready to launch, but we have something coming your way. And I'm just going to briefly announce it. It's going to be called it most likely will be called Mindset Mastery. And we're going to tap into everything that you are making up excuses for, where it's coming from the subconscious mind, because we want to push back those roadblocks. So wherever you're at in your life, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a career woman, an entrepreneur, boss, CEO, whatever that may look like for you, I know this will have a huge impact because I just went through it, and I'm just in awe of where my business and my life is headed. And I want that same progress and those steps and those actions to take place in your life. And I want to see abundance and joy and blessings that you're going to be receiving consistently as you process this. Okay. So I just announced it really quick. So it's like, so one of the things is like self-sabotage is like a GPS in your brain that is constantly trying to set you up for failure. Pretty simple, right? So how do we get past that? Well, I'm going to ask you a few questions because I want to make sure that you are also, like I said, also engaging, because this isn't just about me. I'm sharing an experience from my past. That was from corporate America. I haven't even begin to tell you the self-sabotage that I've done for my business. And I've been in business for 7 years now. So yeah, good times. And I do want to preface this before I go any deeper. Remember, no matter who you are, where you are, every single one of us does it. And what I've learned and experienced over the years that I've been an entrepreneur is we all start on the playing field in different areas. So for example, when I say this, it's like, there's a racetrack, right? So everyone starts on the playing field, right at the start line, right? Now, usually that's what happens. But when somebody falls into entrepreneurship, career, some of us are placed in different areas on the track field. And so sometimes, let's say person A, B, and C. So let's say person A starts at the start line, person B starts like 10 feet ahead, and person C starts 20 feet ahead. So person C makes it all the way around and gets there faster, where person A that started at the finish line, at the start line, is barely making it towards the end. So they're the last person. And I say that because, and I hope I painted a visual for all my visual thinkers and listeners out there, I'm a visual, is because we're all in a different area of our life because of our past, because of what we were imprinted on with, because of the beliefs and values that we received within us internally. So like, for example, somebody can be the same age as me, the same, school as me, and the same studies as me. But because our mindsets were shifted differently during our growth, our thought processes aren't going to match up to whoever's going to reach, their business success first. And then business success looks different for everyone. So like, as I was growing in business, I started to see everyone around me excel. I started to see all these women excel. Oh my goodness, why haven't I? What is happening? What, where am I falling short? And I started to see the little pieces of self-sabotage. And through my lives, I've shared some of those. But it was like, I really started to see the procrastination, the perfectionism, the not wanting to show up because I didn't think I was good enough, the not wanting to increase my prices, the not wanting to post on social media because it was like, well, nobody's listening anyways. So it was like the feedback, right, that I was giving myself. And the thing is, what can really shift for you, like the person that's started at the finish line and is going to be the last one to finish, is the mindset. So like, let's say, person A goes through all the work, goes through all the personal development and so forth. That person is going to start running a lot faster than person B and C that started ahead of them, because they're releasing all of these self-doubts, all of these negative beliefs about themselves, all of these areas of like, I can't do it or I can't make it happen because enter excuse here. So give yourself grace. One of the biggest pieces of advice from my friend B, we call her B, her name's Basilia. I'm going to throw her name out there. I adore her. One of the biggest pieces of advice she gave me was, but look at how far you've come. You've got to allow yourself to receive that grace. And I will never forget, it was like, give yourself grace for how far you've come. And I was like, oh my goodness. And that was a game changer for me, because I kept comparing myself to the runners B and C. Like, why are they so far ahead versus where I'm at? You know, they were taught differently. They were able to show up differently versus everything I had to maybe possibly struggle with that they didn't have to face, you know, or maybe they're dealing with something else that they're unable to get further ahead. So again, we all go through our own journey and our own way of processing negative emotions or processing this self-sabotage. So that's why I'm so adamant about personally developing, working on your mindset, really growing in your spirit. That's why I was like, faith, fitness, finance was so beat into me at the beginning of this year because I knew that faith revolved around my mindset. I knew that fitness revolved around my health so that I can stay healthy. I was on the go eating everything in sight. Like our last episode talked about why entrepreneurs gain weight. So if you haven't caught that episode, I would go back and watch it. And then fitness is to really stay healthy. So it's like the nutrients we're giving our bodies, the movement, because I don't know about you, I'm at an age where like I'll get up and I'm like, oh, that hurts. Everything hurts. So I need to constantly be stretching. Okay. So I want to ask you, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start asking questions. Like I said, I want you all to engage. And if you're catching this after, then I want you to answer these questions for me. Even if, you know, they're, oh, where is it? So sorry. Oh, there it is. Even if you're catching this at a later time, I still want to go back and read them. So I'm going to go ahead and share the first question. Well, I already explained this, but I do want to ask you. So you don't necessarily have to answer what exactly is self-sabotage, because I kind of explained that already. But why do so many women struggle with it? So I want to ask you, why do so many successful women struggle with it? Or why do you struggle with it? So be very honest, be authentic. What is the first thing that is coming to your mind about this? What is the first thing that is revealing in your mind? And if you're shy to comment, send me a DM. And a lot of people will not. One of the things that I've seen business owners do, or CEOs and speakers and things like that, is they will give a room full of people their cell phone number. Call me. Text me. Let me know how I can support you. And in my head, like I've seen it happen a couple times. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, they just gave out their cell phone number. They are going to be flooded with messages. Why would they do that? And then they told me, because only 1% of you will call. Because we stay stuck here. We stay stuck in the chaos or the negative belief of we're not good enough to call them. We're not in a position to make that happen, to take that step. I'm not as successful as them, so therefore I shouldn't reach out. You name it. Why do so many successful women struggle with self-sabotage, or why do you struggle with it? So I want you to comment, or like I mentioned, send me a DM. I want to know. This is great. Okay, so the next one. All right, I'm going to ask the question and then I'm going to also put it in the chat. Question number 2. Can you share a personal example of how self-sabotage showed up in your own journey? And like I said, if you're joining live, this is great. This is what I wanted. I wanted interaction. And if not, then answer this on the replay because I want to know. So share a personal story. It doesn't have to be a long story or a personal example of how self-sabotage showed up in your own journey. All right, so let's go into mine. So I know it's like kind of like beating a dead horse with the same thing. It's mindset, it's mindset, it's mindset. And I don't know about you, but when people would tell me that, I would get so annoyed. I would get really annoyed. Well, like, then tell me how to fix it. Tell me. And I remember a coach telling me, I can't tell you. It was probably one of my coaches when I was in NLP. I can't tell you. This is something that you need to figure out. Oh, that used to upset me so much. Like, how am I supposed to figure it out if I'm constantly being blocked and I don't know why it's happening? Are you there? Are you with me? This is what I get to go through in my training with those that sign up for the mindset mastery, because I get to be in a place of love, of empathy, of understanding, so that you can break through with awareness, with understanding, with reframes, with solutions. There's just so much to expand on, so much for you to open up a horizon of where you want to go next. If you're looking to go after that job, that relationship, that career, that business, that speaking engagement, that event, whatever it may look like in your life, oh my goodness, you have no idea how much of an impact this course, class, training is going to have in your life. And I can't wait to launch it. I'm so excited. We're in the process of finalizing all of the details. And the only thing I'm thinking of is like whether or not I'm going to make it an 8 or 12-week course. My thought process is 8, but I want to say I might extend to 12 for the VIPs, like the people that want to upgrade and get VIP, because we're going to go even deeper. More to come. Anyways, I just had to share. That's so exciting. All right. So next question. Okay. What are some sneaky ways self-sabotage shows up that we might not recognize? That's actually a really good one. So what are some sneaky ways, let me add this there, that self-sabotage shows up that we might not recognize? And this is good because I want you to realize, even though I've emphasized it in the beginning, but maybe it'll come up to you in a different way as I share it, is we don't recognize it because we're unaware of it. We're constantly moving, like we're basically programmed. So our subconscious mind runs on a program to protect us, by the way. So sometimes it's not working in our best interest because it wants to keep us comfortable. Yeah. It was so funny. Not too long ago, I had a call because I do coaching with my own coach. And I say we, but technically I went through the breakthrough and saw something that really upset me. And the reason why I say saw something was it was a realization. It was an awareness of something that she brought to my attention that was affecting me emotionally. Now, let me be honest and transparent, because I always am. Nobody ever wants to feel like or told that they're wrong. I mean, sorry. If you are that person that wants to be told they're wrong, let me know. Or if you're like me and you're like, I don't want to be told I'm wrong. I don't want to be told that it was my fault. Yeah. Are you there with me? Like, nobody wants to hear that. We all want to be successful, what's the word I'm looking for? Successful and very aware, intentional of who we are, especially us women who are very strong, independent, and aware of their own value. We never want to share that we are wrong. We never want to, and not that we don't. I'm saying like, but we never want to come up in our emotions because something was shown to us and we reacted to it. Because granted, I will, when I'm in the wrong, I'll be the first person to say, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry. A friend messaged me the other day and he's like, yeah, he goes, I texted you last and I didn't hear back. And I'm like, oh, no. And then I went back to our message. I'm like, you know what, you're right. And he goes, yeah, you told me XYZ. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. I absolutely did say that. And I'm so sorry. I will be the first one to say that. I will. If I was in the wrong, I will say it. But when this had to do with something that was emotional, like towards another person, like how could that person react this way towards me? Oh my goodness. It came up and I was like, no. I was upset. And the thing is, like, she knows when I'm upset, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like I'm aware, it becomes aware to the awareness comes out and I'm like, all right, let me sit with this. I will pray about it. I will do the work, the inner work, and I'll be fine. And every single time I go through something like that, it's allowed some type of release, some type of abundance to come my way because I'm no longer holding on to what's hurting me and to what's affecting my progress. And the thing is, that's where these things lie, where these self-sabotage lies. They have sneaky ways of showing up because they can show up in people. And when they show up in people, it's these people that make us react. And then we feel that we're a certain way, therefore we can't do XYZ. And that's where the self-sabotage comes in, because our thought process will then revert to, oh, wow, if that's what they believe, then it must be true. Oh my goodness, there's so much. There's so much I want to share with you all that's coming. And I promise it's going to be all revealed. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on into our next question. So definitely engage. I want you to share. Okay, so question number 4 is going to be, why do we sometimes fear success more than failure? Ooh, that's a good one. So go ahead, drop your answers. I want to see what you all have. So here's the next question. Why do we sometimes fear success more than failure? This actually has multiple answers. At least for me, it does. Because I know that I've done this and it can relate. Well, I'll share my own perspective, but I'm looking forward to a few people that have engaged with me in the past. I want to hear their responses. I want to know their responses. So I hope you're responding to these. So why do we sometimes fear success more than failure? So a lot has to do with how we were raised and the beliefs that were instilled within us. And I'll never forget Tony Navarez and I, we did a show together, and it was basically the entrepreneur journey. And I'm pulling it up really quick because I highly recommend that you go and watch it. And let me pull it up. But basically, him and I talked on this show exactly about what I'm going to share, is because specifically in the Latino community, and it could happen in any race, there's this mentality of almost like you got to stay broke, you got to stay poor. So his show that we did is called From Poverty to Success: Overcoming Money Struggles. And that one was powerful. It really was powerful. And he shares a lot of amazing stories and tips. And so I highly recommend that you go back and watch that. So I'm like, know if I have a snippet from it, but if I do, then I'm going to definitely play a little bit of it just so that you can go back, like I said, and watch it. It is phenomenal. And I think I might have it. I don't know. I think I got rid of it. I got rid of it on my PC, I should say. So yeah, okay, it's not there. I just double checked, but ultimately, this is exactly where we're talking about. Why do we sometimes fear success more than failure? When we're growing up, we're imprinted on. We're imprinted on from the time we're babies up until the time we're 7 to 8 years old. And if you've ever heard the term, or at least this happened to me, this is why I got stuck in the money story for so long. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. What was the other ones? We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. And oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank because I know there was like 3. We can't afford that. And oh my goodness. Anyways, so those types of languages, those verbiage, those, our family, our parents were saying, ultimately got imprinted within us to be like, we don't have enough. Money doesn't grow on trees. So then therefore I can't be successful because I need to constantly fail. I couldn't, it was so funny because I used to have a money threshold where there was a certain amount of money I would make. And then my internal perspective was like, okay, you're done. You made the amount of money that you're going to make. You're good. But my conscious mind wasn't aware of it. My subconscious mind would just stop me. And I remember without a doubt, my son telling me, he's like, why do you do that? And I'm like, I don't even know. I didn't even know I did. And this is why it's so valuable to really understand the stories that we're telling ourselves. And that's why it goes back to even what are some sneaky ways self-sabotage shows up. We don't even realize it's happening. So why do we sometimes fear success more than failure? Because success is going to look different. Success is going to change you. It's going to change who you are. It's going to change who you associate with. It really is. And sometimes people don't like that change. And that's okay. But that just means that they'll stay where they're at. But if you're looking to grow and excel and become a mover or shaker in the industry, wherever that may look like, either life or career or your business, then you have to be aware of these processes, of these sneaky little self-sabotage moments. Sound good? Drop me in the chat yes, I agree, 100%. You're on the market, right on the dot. You got this, whatever that may look like. Okay. Question number 5. My bad. Okay, never mind. That was for me. So let's go ahead and get into what the shifts are. So how you can start implementing, and let me make sure I pulled this up correctly. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Okay, so I want to make sure that you are really taking action in this area. Okay, so people always ask, well, how do I know I'm doing it? You know when you're not taking action. You know when you're making excuses. You know when you have a response that moves you away from doing what you're supposed to do. So yes, it comes up in so many areas in our life that we're not even aware of it. So this is why I really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of showing impact, of making that impact. And the thing is, you get to step into your power. You get to step into who you are meant to become and who you want to progress to be because you are looking at a certain type of life, career, business, whatever that may look like. And again, I don't want self-sabotage to hold you back. It should not hold you back, especially after watching this episode, because I'm so passionate. And I just drop in the chat, passionate, Francine, you are passionate. I love your energy. Let's go. Because that's what I get a lot. It's like, I love your energy. I love your excitement, your enthusiasm. I do it because I have so much passion for others to reach their goals and their dreams. I'm living one of my dreams. I've always wanted to work from home. I've always wanted to work anywhere in the world. Now I can just hop on a plane, take off to another city, another country, and work from my laptop. I've always wanted to speak all over the world, and that's coming. So I've already done it in Atlanta. I've done it in Chicago. So what is stopping you from reaching your greatness, reaching your full potential? It really is. And I just want to share how much I love. One of the things I absolutely love before I share tips is I love coaching. Oh my goodness. The thing is, I love speaking and coaching, but like when I absolutely get to have conversation with someone who's holding on to a limiting belief, I love asking questions. And this is like the best. So I ask them questions, and then they open up and they're like thinking, and I'm basically talking to their subconscious, and then they start thinking, and then when it clicks and I see that shift in their eyes and in their face, that's like gold for me. I love that because they're aware of something that they were not aware of before, and they move differently, they respond differently, they act differently. They just feel empowered. They feel like they're able to conquer whatever battle they're going into, or the next step in their life, or whatever that may look like. I love it. And so, yes, I love having those moments of just realization with people. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And I want everyone to experience it. So more is coming out in the next few days, and just really shifting that mindset. Okay. So what do you get to do? We're going to get into it. So these are practical tools for you to use so that you start showing up differently. So I'm going to call it the 5-5-5 rule. 5-5-5. Take 5 minutes to identify your self-sabotaging behavior. 5 minutes. And you could still be like, well, what is it? And okay, we've already kind of covered it, but it's your inaction. You're not taking action. You're not making the phone calls. You're not doing the follow-ups. That's business-wise or career-wise. You're not looking for that next step in, let's say you're going to your next position. You're not talking to somebody about it. You're not being intentional about putting yourself out there. All right, stay-at-home mom. You're not having conversations that are empowering for you to stay in your power as a mom. You're not, like, sometimes what happens is like we maybe be either passive aggressive, or we may be, I was passive aggressive. Crazy. Got through that. And we show up in a way like where I always think of Friends when Phoebe and Rachel, Phoebe tells Rachel, "You're such a pushover." And she's like, "No, I'm not." It's a scene. It's really cute. And then she says something about, "Okay, well, let me have your ice cream." She's like, "Okay." And like, she's such a pushover, right? So how is it that you keep showing up? How are people taking advantage of you? So there's different ways to look at how self-sabotaging behavior is taking place in your life. So take 5 minutes to identify it. List 5 ways it's holding you back. It's holding you back. I already know. See, things like this, I can understand when self-sabotage happens in people, and I can literally like spread it out, throw it out, list it out for them. But guess what? I'm coach. I can't lay it all out for them and have them not have the realization, because that's where the magic happens. When you have your own realization, that's where shift begins. Now, granted, I can guide you in that direction, but open and willing. Okay. So list 5 ways it's holding you back. And then I want you to create 5 new empowering actions to replace it. And this simple practice brings awareness, and it creates immediate change. So 5 new empowering actions to replace it. I'm going to do XYZ. I'm going to say XYZ. I'm going to show up in this way, XYZ. I have to do this with my accountability group. Like, they had a prompt for us that was like, what habit is holding us back from meeting our true potential? I had to sit with that. I didn't even have to, I'm so sorry. I didn't even have to sit with it. I knew what it was. It was my phone. I'm like, it's my phone. Because what happens is it gives us this dopamine rush. So when I grab my phone, it's like, okay, messages. Okay, social media. Now, granted, when I throw myself on social media, it's because I love reading empowerment quotes, inspirations, and then sometimes I get stuck in messages, okay? It happens to the best of us. And on my phone, sometimes I get stuck in messages on my phone, like people texting. I'm like, okay, let me respond. This is a really bad habit for me. I'm that person. Let me know if you're this person. If somebody texts you, you have to respond right away. Who's that person? Anybody? Now, usually when my phone is on silent, obviously I don't know anybody's texting. And this is what I got to be more aware of when I'm working. So when I'm working and I'm having really like a power hour, and I'm really tuned into work, I got to put my phone on silent. Like, I really do. So I'll let my mom, my son, people know that I'm away, like, meaning like I'm not answering. Now, when they call me, it's an emergency. Like, I have them obviously on emergencies. Like, if they call me, it goes through. Their ring will come through. But like messages, I have to be aware that I got to stop picking up my phone because it's a habit. So it gives me that dopamine rush. Ooh, social media. Oh, let me check my emails. Let me do this. Let me do that. Really? You know what I mean? So I get to be aware of that. I get to be aware that that's a habit that is a self-sabotaging habit that is not working in my favor. So I want to ask you, what is a habit that you continuously do that is keeping you from your own success? Yeah, let's put that as our last question. So what is a habit that is keeping you from your own success? And it could be, like, success doesn't have to necessarily be about business. It could be about you going out to be the PTA president if you're a stay-at-home mom, or it's you taking action in registering your child for high school or college. Whatever that may look like in your life, what is keeping you? What is a habit that is keeping you from your own success or keeping you from moving the needle forward? Because we do it. We do it on a continuous basis. And then I want to be able to share these last few things with you. So let me know in the comments if this episode really spoke to you. I want to know, because remember, I want to kind of summarize what I talked about. So self-sabotage is coming through childhood beliefs and trauma, fear of success, lack of self-worth, repeating old patterns because they feel safe, and let's see. And then also how we keep ourselves stuck. This is funny. I put all these notes together and I'm just like, okay, yeah. I kind of went through everything because I already knew what I was going to talk about. I have my outline, but I already knew that it was just going to come, because when I speak, it comes from the heart. It comes through prayer. I always ask God, what is it that you want me to share? What is it that you want me to bring of value? Okay, so here's the cycle. You dream big, you get excited, fear shows up, delay or avoid happens, you feel shame or guilt, and then you repeat the cycle. Oh my goodness, boom, mic drop. How many of you do that every day? Raise your hand. Let me know. Drop an emoji hand. It's okay. You can raise your hand from where you're at on your couch, or maybe on your phone and sitting in your car or at a restaurant, wherever you may be. I'm sure you're raising your hand out there. But drop me a comment. That's me. Yep, I do the cycle. What? Let me do hashtag cycle. If you're joining live or on replay, hashtag cycle. Because guess what? It shows up for me too. But I get to be more aware of it. So I share this episode so that you are more aware of it. And when you become aware of it, you can then take action. How many of you do the whole, I'll tell you right now, this one came up recently. I was so tired the other day. I was exhausted. Mondays are usually my really busy days. I don't stop working till 9 p.m. Up at 6 and I stop at 9. Insane. Well, because I was so tired, because that was Monday. Tuesday, I went through another busy day and I was so tired that by the end of Tuesday, I just watched movies. I don't want to do anything. When I could have easily taken a quick nap and then jumped on my laptop because I have so much pending for my work. Self-sabotage. And you may be saying, but Francine, you got to give yourself a break and da-da-da. Believe me, I know what my own self-sabotage looks like. And believe me, I do give myself breaks. I do. 110%, because we all need breaks. But breaks also mean, Francine, put your phone down, because you're taking a break. You're not scrolling through social media. So when I say there's self-sabotage that happens, I know when it's happening. So just be aware. All right. So how we're breaking the cycle is through awareness. Name it when it shows up. Compassion. This is fear, not failure. Give yourself compassion. Accountability. Speak it out loud to a coach, a friend, a journal, or say it to a whole audience that's watching. Yeah, I just did that. Yes, because I'm transparent and I will show all of it. I will show everything that keeps me stuck. I'll share all the messy, because I want you to be able to share, to step into your power. I'll share all of the struggles. I want you to be able to step into your power. Let's do this. We're in this together. Daily courage moves. So the small wins matter. Ooh, this was so hard for me. This goes back to what I said earlier. Give yourself grace for how far you've come. Because when I wasn't where I wanted to be 3, 4, 5 years ago, I would look at what I created and be like, okay, but I'm not where I used to be. Look at where I'm at now. And the biggest one is my mindset shift. You can't put anybody in front of me who will alter my emotional state. And that's huge. Now, granted, they may jolt me. Don't get me wrong. They may jolt me. But I'm in total control of how I react versus how I respond. Total control. and vice versa. I'm in total control of how I respond versus how I react. And that is where so many people fall short, because they allow others to take control of who they are. They give away their power and then self-sabotage. All right, rewire your belief. Affirmations plus actions. Affirmations plus actions. Now, a lot of the reason why affirmations are said to not have worked is because people don't believe it. And if people don't believe it, it's because they need to rewire. That's it. I can give you words to say over and over again, but if you actually don't believe it, like if I say, okay, I want you to look in the mirror every day and say, I am beautiful. 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 Okay, I did it. That's an action. Okay? You're doing an action. Do you actually believe it? Are you doing it with intention? If you're looking at yourself and be like, I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. And actually believing and putting emphasis on it, that's when it changes. So remember, affirmations, when you put feeling and thought into it, not just a routine, not something that you have to do. So understand that. And action. And of course, my mantra, I show up even when I'm scared. Ooh, so many times. Yep, scared. I'm like, if I'm scared, it means that I should do it. That's what I learned actually. So, okay. So what's one small step you can take this week to stop self-sabotaging? That is our final question that I'm going to ask. What's one small step you can take this week to stop self-sabotaging? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. I'm excited. I want to hear from you. Let me know. You all know, follow me on social media. You can search my name on Google or your Microsoft Explorer. Type in Francine Ayala. It will connect you to my social medias, my YouTube, my Facebook, my Instagram, my LinkedIn. Wherever you want to send me a message, I am more than happy to support you. So until next time, you all, I am so excited for what's to come. Oh, I want to share with you what is coming next week. I'm like, we've already released what our title is going to be next week, or my team did. And so I want to see if I can pull it up really quick and announce it so that you guys can be ready and, willing to engage. So let's see. I want to say it is... am I not going to be able to find it? Oh, bummer. Sorry. Just give me one more second. No, it's not there. Oh, here it is. Ha! I found it. Okay. It is. Oh my God. There it is. Okay. So next week's title is Turning Pain into Power. How to use your struggles for growth. Ooh, that's going to be a good one because, this girl went through some pain, depression twice. All right, I will see you next week. Remember, drop me a comment, engage. Let me know how this episode impacted you, and I can't wait to see you on the next live. Have a beautiful day wherever you are joining, and know that you are blessed, you are loved, and you are so worth it because you are meant for more. Take care. Bye.
I want to get to know what you do, what inspires you, what you enjoy.
My ability to lead really impacts women on a larger level because not every woman has the same story or the same journey. So understanding where they've come from and where they want to go helps me be the leader that I can so that I can show up in a space of authenticity for them.